welcome to my game room. I get asked a lot, how much did I spend on all this? And the answer is, I have no idea, because I didn't buy it all at once. I bought this over the span of almost a decade. Some things were free, some things I got at garage sales, some things I got at game stores. A lot of it came through eBay, so I have no idea how much all that was over the years. But what I can do is determine the value that this collection is today. Bear in mind, I have about 2,000 individual games, as well as all the systems you see behind me. I have handhelds, I have accessories, I have tons of accessories in another room filling up a closet. Today I'm going to show you the huge process I had to do to determine the value, and I'm going to tell you the value that I arrived at. And just for fun, I posted a poll to my subscribers to see how much they think this collection is worth. And here's the results of that. I will say, I'm not a big fan of the monetary side of video game collecting. I think it's gotten out of hand. And I think there's a lot of people collecting for investment purposes. I would never advise that. Not everything in this room has gone up in value. In fact, some things have gone down. I collect for fun, and to me the true value of a video game is when you play it. The fun you get out of that is the value. I'm not a big fan of those videos where people say, look at this rare game. Some of these YouTubers are so big they can push the value of a game up just by doing a video like that. Hello, welcome to my video game show. In honor of my 1 millionth subscriber, I have a very rare game I'm going to show you today. Did I mention it was rare? So I do think YouTubers have to be responsible. So why am I doing all this if I'm not a big fan of the monetary side of video game collecting? It's because I'm curious, and I would like to know for insurance reasons. So anyway, here's the process I took for determining the value of my collection. And like I said, I'm going to actually tell you what that value is.
So the first thing I had to do was catalog everything that I own. I already had an Excel workbook that kept track of each game that I have, but it wasn't 100% perfect, so I had to go through it all over again and do a recount on my whole collection basically. I had some games that I listed as being owned, but I didn't actually have, and I also found some games in my collection that weren't on the sheet. I then had to catalog every single system, handheld, accessory, tons of controllers, empty boxes, and everything else that I have on hand. By the way, I'm not gonna count shelves and TVs and stands and stuff like that. I'm strictly just counting video game equipment. So after I cataloged everything, I then went to pricecharting.com. I don't work for them, but I do enjoy their site a lot. What it does is it keeps track of what games are selling for on eBay, and it stores the data, so you can look at charts and see the patterns over time. If you create a user ID, you can use the site to store a list of your collection, and then it'll keep track of its value. So what you do is you just locate the game on the site, and then click a button that adds it to your collection. Now, I did not want to do this 2,000 times, so luckily there's a way to import your game collection into the site. In order to do it, your data has to be formatted a certain way. And it's not perfect. Whenever I imported a large portion, there was always some that didn't get imported. So sometimes I was able to get past that by cleaning up the data a little bit. Sometimes I had things spelled wrong, or I had a 2 where a Roman numeral 2 needed to be. After importing, I went back and checked to make sure things were imported correctly. There was one big miscalculation it did. It thought I owned the Sonic the Hedgehog for the Master System. The site only does the most popular systems. The very obscure systems, it does not keep track of those games. I just had to look those up on my own. So once you have the collection in the site, you can then export the file, which also means you're exporting the values. As I mentioned, I'm only using this site to determine the value of my video games. I'm not using it to determine the value of the systems and my controllers and all the other things that I own. So for everything else, I simply looked it up on eBay in the sold section. Some people make the mistake of looking in the completed section. If you're determining the value of something, always click the sold listings box and then do a search. Here, I'm going to show the value of every system that's plugged into my setup, sorted from low to high. Sorry about my shaky hands. I'm including the prices of anything you see in front of you, including the controllers, memory cards, and things like that. For some of these systems, I have the original box, so I'm including that in the value. And right here, I'm just going to show the top 15 high-valued games that I own. So what is the total value of everything? For just the games alone, it came to $37,254. For everything else, it was $15,986. So the total was $53,240. I could buy a lot of games with that. 20% of the people in the poll got it correct. A lot of people might have underestimated because they didn't realize how many other things I own that aren't in the room. So that's all I have today, and I'll see you next time.